I will go ahead and say Sway had the answer.
I'm teethdaggers. He's dead, and he doesn't do shit to us. Gaming, IRL streaming. It made a.
I'm probably gonna want to talk to you, so just heads up. No.
They made a noise. Documentaries and videos. It was my dream to date a stripper that was a pole dancer and not a twerker, but she happened to be a twerker.
Over the years, there have been many celebrity interviews that have been extremely awkward. A lot of times, this is due to the interviewer saying something they shouldn't, but sometimes it comes down to the celebrity. In this video, we'll take a look at some of the most uncomfortable interviews of all time.
Yo, what up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of TellUsMore Reacts/Analyzes videos. Today, we will be analyzing or reacting the most uncomfortable celebrity interviews of all time by TellUsMore. Let's get right into it.
Starting with Jonah Hill. Jonah got his big break in 2007 with the release of the comedy movie Superbad. From there, he starred in various other comedy movies, many of which performed very well. Despite his success, many in the industry disregarded him as just a funny fat guy due to his weight and movie choices. But in the 2010s, he started taking on more dramatic roles and showed he was far more capable of an actor than people were giving him credit for. He also managed to lose a ton of weight and get in the best shape of his life. But even after all that, he still had to put up with interviewers like this.
I mean, you look great. Everybody wants to know what made you make the change.
I just decided one day I wanted to be healthier, and I went and saw a nutritionist, and that's what I did. Stuck to it.
But are you still considered the fat guy when you go to a party or anything? Because I run into that a whole lot.
So you gotta fucking consider how scary it is to be in that guy's position anyway. Put yourself in his shoes. Yeah, it was a super lame, super bad question. But you're only seeing Jonah Hill right now. You're not seeing the whole room full of people trying to get questions in. First of all, you gotta worry about him not even wanting to answer your question. So you gotta make a question that stands out, right? Second of all, you're not there to ask a question for your news or whatever that everybody has the answer for their news. You're trying to fucking do something that's gonna get noticed or recognized or some type of publicity, even if it's another news station writing about that news station. You're just trying to get noticed, just trying to make it work. And on top of that, everybody's got to start somewhere. We don't know. I mean, it kind of sounds like he's nervous, and who wouldn't be, and he might be even new to this situation. And that might kind of make him ask a stupid question. Like what you hear him saying, oh, because I'm known as the fat guy. That's him trying to, he knew he said something awkward. And that's him trying to fix it. So, yeah, it was stupid and cringy and a lame question. But it's hard to hate on it. Being knowing that Jonah's not even going to answer a lot of these questions. And, it's the guy's job depends on it. And if he asks too boring of a question, he might not have his internship anymore. And if he asks a bad question like that, he might not have his internship anymore. But it's a freaking risk.
I'm the fat one. So are you the fat guy in Hollywood still, or is everybody look at you?
And then he's going with it still to make it seem like he's confident and not awkward, but it's too late.
And they're like, oh wow, this is great. Now you're healthy.
Do you have any other questions that are?
She just said it's great that you're healthy, but he was trying to escape with nervousness.
Smart.
A few years after.
And then he was really fucking nice to give him another chance in that big room of interviewers.
After this, Jonah made the film War Dogs with Miles Teller. During the press run for the movie, they made an appearance on a French talk show. Here, one of the hosts began describing her sexual fantasy to Jonah and ended the story by completely embarrassing him.
Fantasme, en fait, ce serait qu'on se retrouve tous les deux dans une chambre d'hôtel le soir. On discute, voilà, vous me faites rire, vous me faites beaucoup rire. Et là, d'un coup, vous ramenez vos potes DiCaprio et Brad Pitt et vous partez.
This was insanely awkward, and it was made worse by the fact that everyone was looking at him with looks of pity. He hit back at the host by saying he's glad he came to the show to get ridiculed by the local weather girl, but from the look on his face, you could tell what she said got to him. After this, Jonah cancelled almost all his remaining interviews in France. The host later apologized for the joke, saying, "Jonah, the problem is that for 10 years I've lived with you through your films. In fact, Jonah, I really had the impression that I knew you, so last Friday I thought I was just messing around with a friend. But the reality is that we are not friends. No, the reality is that you have 2 Oscar nominations and I have 2 videos on my YouTube account. You have made films with Scorsese and Tarantino, and me, I have made an advert for Spontex."
Wow. She's really good at like, how do I say it? Like knowing herself, but there's another word for it. Knowing that she's like the opposite of the main character. That was intense. I don't even think she should have put herself down like that. Really, because in my opinion, her chasing her goals on YouTube and stuff, and being able to interview Jonah Hill is an accomplishment, right? It's just different paths of life, I guess, and different areas, like different spots that they're in. And then I think she only did that because of what she said, yeah. But that's probably why the first guy did it too, a little bit. And also, she did it because of what I said about the first guy. Like, she has him on her YouTube show. She can't fucking be boring. She has to risk it. She has to risk it. And she fucked up. But that's what risking is. Like, sometimes you throw 7, sometimes you throw snake eyes.
Big thanks to Dragon Mania Legends for sponsoring this video. Dragon Mania Legends is a free One of the most famous stories in Hollywood of an actor turning their life around is the story of Robert Downey Jr. At one point in his life, he was heavily addicted to drugs and had hit rock bottom, but after a long and difficult battle, he managed to bounce back, and he did it in the best way possible. Not only did he beat his addiction, but he also took his career to a whole new level, becoming Iron Man in 2008 and kickstarting what has gone on to become the most successful cinematic universe of all time. After achieving all that, you'd expect people to show him the respect he deserves and leave questions about his past at the door. But in 2015, interviewer Krishnan Guru Murthy had other ideas. During a promotional interview for Avengers Age of Ultron, Krishnan began probing into RDJ's personal life.
Oh, so this is a different scenario, and I'm super glad it is, because I was about to be like, damn it, all these scenarios are the same, like, awkward situation. Nah, some of these scenarios are like, they are trying to get a reaction out of them because that's what their show was about. Like, their show is about having tough interviews.
Does that mean you're not a liberal, or that you came out of prison not being liberal?
Are we promoting a movie? To me, the thing...
Robert answered the question as diplomatically as he could, but it was obvious he was frustrated as he kept looking over at his team. Krishnan didn't take any of the verbal or physical cues Robert was giving him, and he proceeded to ask an even more touchy question.
In other interviews again about your relationship with your father and the role of all of that in the dark periods you entered, and taking drugs and drinking and all of that. And I just wondered whether you think you're free of all of that, or whether that's still something.
I'm sorry, I really don't. What are we doing?
Well, I'm just asking questions. That's all.
Right.
I mean,
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
are you? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you.
Do you?
You see little kids just getting a little dinosaur in your...
No, look, I don't want to do that.
Can't blame him. He gave as many non-verbal warnings as possible, and the man kept pushing. RDJ handled that fall like a champ. This isn't the first time Krishnan's had a disastrous interview with a celebrity. Just 2 years earlier, he interviewed the famous director Quentin Tarantino, and what happened was even more awkward. Tarantino is known for incorporating a lot of gore in his movies, and Krishnan started questioning him on the link between movie violence and real violence.
But why are you so sure that there's no link between enjoying movie violence and enjoying real violence?
I don't. Because why the fuck would they watch the movie and copy it? If they do, they're mentally ill, and that doesn't have anything to do with movie violence. That has to do with mental illness.
I'm going to tell you why I'm so sure. Do not ask me a question like that. I'm not biting. I refuse your question.
Why?
Because I refuse your question. I'm not your slave and you're not my master. You can't make me dance to your tune. I'm not a monkey.
I can't make you answer anything. I'm asking you interesting questions.
And I'm saying I refuse.
You'd think Krishnan would have learned his lesson from this interview, but clearly not. In 2014, Cara Delevingne landed her first lead role in a movie, playing Margot in Paper Towns. At this point in her career, she was known for modeling much more than she was for acting, so many people saw her as just a pretty face and didn't show her much respect. There was one occasion where she made an appearance on Good Day Sacramento to promote Paper Towns that she was given a really hard time. The host spent the entire interview talking down to her, with one even calling her by the wrong name.
Carla Delevingne is in the movie. She joins us live from New York City to talk about Paper Towns. Cara, good morning.
Hey.
Hi, how you doing? We're doing all right. Nice to have you here. So the movie is based on a best-selling book by John Green. You play Margot, the star character there. Did you get a chance? The book is taught, I know, in a lot of high schools and such. Did you get a chance to read it, or do you even have time to sit and read? These days you're so busy.
No, I never read the book or the script, actually. I kind of winged it.
Yeah.
No, of course, I love the book.
Nice
I think
try.
the book's amazing.
The interview was already off to a really bad start, but it got even worse when the third host
No way, she fixed the interview by doing that.
started asking questions.
I saw you in London talking a couple weeks ago on TV, and you seemed a lot more excited about it than you do right now. Are you just exhausted?
Oh, no. I mean, I'm still very excited. You know, the premiere was last night. It was an emotional night. It felt like the end of an era, but I'm
They called her the wrong name to start off with.
not any less excited than I was a couple of weeks ago. Maybe I had a bit more energy. It's the morning.
You do seem a bit irritated. Perhaps it's just us.
Yeah, I think it's just you.
I think it probably is us. Well, then on that note,
We figured as much. We figured as much.
we'll let you go then. How about that?
All
We'll
right.
let you go take a little nap, maybe get a Red Bull. How about that?
Cara Delevingne, thank you so much.
She was in a mood.
No, she fucking was not. They put that on her.
You make $5 million for 6 weeks worth of work. You can pretend to talk to Good Day Sacramento with some oomph.
Calls her the wrong name, insinuating
Wait, what the fuck? Dude, they called her the wrong name in the beginning.
she's not intelligent enough to read a book, straight up tells her she looks exhausted, asks her why she's so irritated, tells her sarcastically to go take a nap and drink a Red Bull, and continues to trash talk her once she's offline. So unprofessional. And of course Cara is irritated because she can sense you're belittling her. Vin Diesel is an actor who's most well known for his long-time role as Dominic Toretto in the Fast and Furious franchise. He's been in a relationship with Paloma Jimenez since 2007, and the pair have had 3 kids together. Despite the importance his character places on family throughout the Fast and Furious movies, in his personal life, Vin has run into accusations of infidelity. He can be quite flirtatious, and there's one interview he did back in 2016 which has become notorious. He was answering questions from a Brazilian reporter about his new movie, and for the first few minutes of the interview, everything seemed normal. Then, out of nowhere, while speaking about some advice Tom Hanks once gave him, he started telling the interviewer how beautiful she is.
Before that, I didn't know any movie stars, but Tom Hanks was the first one, and God, you're so beautiful. God, she's so beautiful, man. Am I right or wrong? Look at her.
That's only because he thought that, like, he could get anybody. And she thought that she was starstruck.
How am I supposed to do this interview? Look at this one.
See? but he's just being awkward.
Woman.
Tell me your story.
She's so beautiful. Coño, man. Talk to me, baby. Tell me your story. Tell me yours. Let's get out of here. Let's go. Let's go have lunch. My God, I love her. Look how beautiful she is.
Thank you.
God. Wow, man.
So
He's not even talking to her.
Thanks.
Wow.
He's not even paying attention to her.
Oh, man.
The interviewer tried to get the conversation back on track, but just a couple minutes later, Vin started showering her with compliments again.
I found out that you are a nerd like me. You love Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm anything like you because I love you.
But
I'm anything like you because I love you. Guys, really? Look how beautiful she is. You guys think it's a joke. How am I supposed to sit over here when I'm looking at such beauty? Come on, guys. She's so beautiful. I'm in love. I'm in love with the interview.
This is so fucking weird. It's because he's sort of like an incel. He spends so much time perfecting his craft and just hustling and making money and working out and shit that he's not good at this. But he shouldn't have to be as long as he's interesting enough. But fucking he doesn't have the self-confidence because he just looks at himself like a normal person probably. Just like, this is my job, leave me alone type shit. Like, why are you taking pictures of me?
Weird that instead of saying to her, "You're beautiful," and directly complimenting her, he keeps talking to other people in the room saying, "Isn't she beautiful?" ignoring her and not allowing her to react. A strange power play, very weird interview. At this point, it was pretty obvious the woman was getting creeped out, but she was doing her best to stay professional. It's as if Vin was on a mission to make her feel uncomfortable though, because towards the end of the interview, he got even worse.
Eu sou o Groot.
It's so good.
Eu sou o Groot.
I love her. Man, she's so fucking sexy. It's not, I can't do this interview. Look at her. Does anyone say this? Guys, what's wrong?
Oh, maybe I get what's happening. This could be a really weird perspective. Maybe he hates the interview so bad that that's his excuse. Like, because he doesn't want to get her in trouble too. So he's like, fuck, this interview sucks. It's fucking a different language. I'm gonna fuck around over here. It is weird how he doesn't talk to her though.
Am I the only one that's saying it? Look at her.
He always says that to everybody.
She's so fucking beautiful.
The same sentence over and over again for like a half hour.
It's like you can't even do an interview with her because you're just like, da, 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 da. Right or wrong? Oh my God, guys, someone save me. When did this turn into Beautiful World? When did this turn into the most gorgeous girl in Brazil? When did this turn into I love you?
Thank you so much.
Following this, the interviewer
Yeah, he just didn't like the interview. He just quit.
uploaded a video to her personal YouTube channel where she discussed what happened and gave her thoughts on Vin Diesel's behavior. She began by saying how awkward and unbearable he was and went on to say, he began to hit on me in the middle of the interview, saying that I was pretty, and he interrupted the interview 3 times to talk about it. I was laughing, completely uncomfortable. I was not sure what to do. I just laughed because it was a very delicate situation. I didn't like it. At the time, I didn't know how to react, but you'll see that I was uncomfortable. It was not nice that he interrupted my work. Not only is Samuel L. Jackson a big character when he's on screen, he's also a big character off screen. He has a great sense of humor, but he's also a no BS, say it how it is kind of person. He doesn't shy away from a confrontation if a situation calls for it. And there was one interview he did in 2014 where he gave the interviewer a piece of his mind. When discussing recent projects Jackson had been working on, the interviewer brought up a Super Bowl commercial he was in. Jackson was confused because he hadn't been in a Super Bowl commercial, and it quickly became clear the interviewer had mixed him up with another famous black actor, Lawrence Fishburne.
Working for Marvel, the Super Bowl commercial, did you get a lot of reaction to that Super Bowl commercial?
What Super Bowl commercial?
Oh, you know what? I've been my mistake.
See, you're as crazy as the people on Twitter.
Right.
I'm not Lawrence Fishburne.
That's my fault. I know that. That was my fault. My mistake. You know what?
We don't all look alike.
Flog, you're exactly
We may be
right.
all black and famous,
You
but
are
we all don't look
guilty.
alike.
I am guilty.
Next question.
I am guilty.
He thought you were Bob Dylan.
Right. That's right.
You're the entertainment reporter.
I know. I'm dumb
You're the
as fuck.
entertainment reporter
Right.
for this station.
Flog.
And you don't know the difference between
I
me and
know.
Lawrence Fishburne?
My mistake. My mistake. I apologize.
Jackson kept making him squirm for another minute after this, and when the interviewer got off the line, he acknowledged his screw-up.
He was trying to get him fired.
There's a tape now that I believe is now going to have a life all of its own.
We'll see on YouTube.
In the reporter's defense, he's not the first person to confuse Jackson and Fishburne, as apparently it had been happening for years.
I was doing an interview in New York almost 20 years ago, and a woman from Texas came up and interrupted the interview. And I don't mean to bother you, but can I have your autograph, Mr. Jackson? And so I gave her, I wrote, you know, blah, 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 Sam Jackson.
Yeah. For the people I've talked about so far, an awkward interview is something
He wrote Sam Jackson. That's so funny.
out of the ordinary, but for Kanye West, it's almost expected. Over the years, Kanye has made numerous appearances on talk shows where he said something offensive or gone off on an angry rant, so there are a lot of moments of his that could make this list. But I'd say one of, if not the most uncomfortable interview of his, was on Sway's Universe in 2013.
Whatever, that was just the best one. We're skipping it. You can watch it if you want. It's called Sway and Kanye. It's the very best interview. You're not allowed to watch it through this.
Sway had the answer.
Over the years, Tom Cruise has done some interviews that are pretty difficult to watch. Once, he made headlines after
Whoa, he said Sway had the answer. And just to let you know why that's amazing is because the whole interview he kept on saying, "You don't have the answer." I kind of want to see that part though.
ended, and he went on the record addressing that old interview with Sway.
So Sway, almost 10 years ago, said, "Man, why don't you do it on your own?" Was he right?
You know what? I will go ahead and say Sway had the answer.
Sway had the answer. That's too good. You have to watch that meme if you haven't seen it.
Over the years, Tom Cruise has done some interviews that are pretty difficult to watch. Once, he made headlines after jumping on the sofa during an appearance on Oprah Winfrey's chat show to declare his love for then-girlfriend Katie Holmes. And that same year, he argued with Matt Lauer about the practice of psychiatry, calling it a pseudoscience. Then there are the many videos of him pushing Scientology, which is the highly controversial religion he belongs to. But his most awkward interview happened in 2005 with Peter Overton, when he was asked about his relationship with Nicole Kidman. Tom and Nicole had divorced 4 years prior, and Peter started prying into their relationship.
Was Nicole the love of your life?
I mean, how do you answer that? How do you answer that question? I loved Nick very much. There's no question.
Peter went on to ask an even more personal question, after which Tom completely shut him down.
And do you have a relationship where you talk, it's a parenting relationship, and talk professionally about each other's work?
Listen, here's the thing, Peter. Yeah. You're stepping over a line now. You're stepping over a line. You know you are.
I suppose they're questions that people want to know.
Peter, you want it.
Whoa! Tom Cruise is so professional. I should act like that. Peter, you're stepping over the line. He's acting like his dad. This guy got sunned. Tom Cruise is wrong. Peter doesn't want to know. Peter's audience wants to know.
Take responsibility for what you want to know. Don't say what other people. This is a conversation that I'm having with you right now.
You're right.
Okay, so I'm just telling you right now. Okay, just Put your manners back in.
Do you think I was out of line?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I apologize.
Put your manners back in. Do you think I was out of line? Yes, absolutely.
Apologize for that sincerely.
Whoa! Holy fuck, that was a cool interview.
When you think Hollywood actor, words like confident, outgoing, and charismatic probably come to mind. But for all his success in the industry, Jesse Eisenberg is quite the opposite. He's the introverted and awkward type. And during a press run in 2013 for his movie Now You See Me, he had a really weird interview with Romina Puga. It started out with him questioning how she referred to Morgan Freeman, who was his co-star in the film.
So Freeman plays a magic debunker.
Freeman? Who are you? Yeah. Freeman? Yeah. What, are you on a baseball team with him?
Yeah, he's a buddy of mine.
Okay.
He then...
What's wrong with her to say that? Does he have to... Well, okay, I get it from his perspective. He probably, like, worships him because he's an actor. But she's probably just chilling. She's probably like, Freeman. Like she's reading a book. She can't say Morgan Freeman every time she's about to say it either.
Called her out for having things written on her hands.
What did you write on your hand?
Nothing.
Well, I saw there was a lot of things. What was it?
A lot of things.
Are they questions?
No.
Are you secretly hiding questions for the interview? You're wondering what it's like to work with Morgan Freeman and you can't remember that?
You know.
Don't call Morgan Freeman Freeman like you're on a Little League softball team with him.
From there, it just got worse.
Do you know the comedian Carrot Top?
Yes, horrible.
Well, you were like the Carrot Top of interviewers.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. No, and it's a good thing. It's
I'm
a
gonna
good
go
thing.
cry now.
No, don't cry now. Cry after the interview's over. Because otherwise I'll look like I'm responsible for it. Okay, so.
Well, you are.
Well, I don't want to know that though.
Okay, well,
so
you know now.
After this, she had him perform a magic trick since he plays a magician in the movie. Then she asked him to say her name into the camera, something she does with all her guests.
Can I just have you say my name into the camera?
Just the word Romina?
Well, my name, not a word.
And what's going to happen to it?
We'll skip it.
I'll do the thing.
We'll skip it.
But I just wanted to know like what to give it.
You're trying to find me in a crowded place.
Oh, okay. Romina.
That's it? I would never hear you.
The thing is, I actually didn't want to find you. I was actually hoping to stay alone.
Such a jerk.
After the interview, Romina wrote a blog post where she spoke about her experience, saying she felt humiliated by
But that part was actually funny. She should have known, like, what she was doing and going against the comedian.
Jesse. Apparently, after they wrapped up, she went behind a curtain to wait for the memory cards from the interview. She peeked around it to ask Jesse about his neighborhood in New York, because he lives a few blocks away from where she used to. And he immediately said,
said, savage.
You should have seen some of these other ones. And you should have seen the Kanye West one, where he was like, right here, he was like, Sway had the answer.
I will go ahead and say Sway had the answer.
Oh! That's my favorite part.
Her name into the camera, something she does with all her guests.
Can I just have you say my name into the camera?
Just the word Romina?
Well, my name, not a word.
And what's going to happen to it?
We'll skip it.
I'll do the thing.
We'll skip it.
But I just wanted to know like what to give it.
You're trying to find me in a crowded place.
Oh, okay. Romina.
That's it? I would never hear you.
The thing is, I actually didn't want to find you. I was actually hoping to stay alone.
Such a jerk.
After the interview, Romina wrote a blog post where she spoke about her experience, saying she felt humiliated by Jesse. Apparently, after they wrapped up, she went behind a curtain to wait for the memory cards from the interview. She peeked around it to ask Jesse about his neighborhood in New York, because he lives a few blocks away from where she used to. And he immediately said, "You're still here?" Clearly the incident really bothered Romina, but Jesse saw the whole thing differently. He said it was the most funny and interesting interview he'd had all day, so he was shocked when news networks began reaching out asking for a statement. He said, "Listen, I would never want to upset somebody, and if I did upset her, obviously I would have acknowledged that." Apparently, he reached out to Romina to apologize.
Yeah, because it was just a comedy bit. I knew it. And that being said, guys, if you liked that video, I really did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and you can find it by typing in the most uncomfortable celebrity interviews of all time. Type it into YouTube search bar. It is by TellUsMore. Hell yeah, guys, and if you liked that episode of Teeth Daggers Analyzes / Reacts, make sure to Subscribe below.
Find me at twitch.com/teethdaggers.